Welcome back, friends. Welcome back to the Homestead. I'm in the workshop continuing the workshop build. It's been a long time between the videos because of getting wood has been a problem because of the weather and where we are and stuff like that. Anyway, the wood has arrived. All the plywood and OSB and timber to be able to make the cabinet. So the first order is what I'm not really looking forward to. Order of the day is to clear all this behind me. All this has to come down, all the shelves have to come down, all the rubbish from the corner here has to come out. That needs to be moved, that desk there, that bench, and we need to kind of find room for it in the rest of the workshop. So I need to, I mean, those should stack, the plastic boxes. The other stuff I'll try and find a box to put in, and of course it needs to be retrievable as well. So I'll now clear all those, and then we'll see where we are. And then once that all's out, we need to, without getting too far ahead of myself, we then need to deck the walls with the OSB so we can then start doing the cabinets, which seems a long way off at the moment, but there we are. That's the order of the day. How far I'll get in this video, I don't know. But anyway, we're in the next stage. It's an important step, isn't it? Getting rid of all the rubbish and having, I won't have a sort out now. I'll have a sort out when I put it all back later on, but I need to put it in some order where I know where everything is. So that's what I'll be doing next.
Okay, so I just want to say at the start of the video, I'm not a carpenter. I've got no carpentry experience really. It's just skills that I've picked up from living here on the homestead and doing a few jobs. This is the biggest project, sort of indoor cabinet build project I've ever done. Well, yeah, I've not done any other projects like it. It's first time kind of doing CAD work, detailed CAD work anyway. And as you can see from the workshop, I don't have a full workshop. I do use cheap tools, or cheapish, although I'm learning my lesson a bit from that. But I can assure you that this project was all built using cheap tools. And I don't know if you're like me, I get fed up watching videos when someone says you can build this easy cabinet and then you've got to use, you know, £10,000 tools, etc. None of that here.
And there we are. There's the everything from here. And here is moved. As usual, the last 10% of everything took 90% of the time. And I've had a good vacuum up to get rid of a lot of the dust, because when I start knocking this about, I don't know how easy it will come apart. It's going to be a lot of dust. And then everything now is moved over to that side, which looks a complete mess, but it's going to be a thing of beauty when it's done. Right, so next thing is I'm going to knock these about and try and get all this taken down. Okay, so before we continue, I've had a change of plan. So I've put the OSB panel up here. I've still got to work out how to fix things. Anyway, that's another challenge, and then we'll leave the rest. So I just need to get on now with this rail, the toe kick rail, and then we can start building. Well, after that, I need to get the workshop, change it around a bit to get it ready to be able to bring in big sheets of plywood to process all that plywood into the strips and bits and cuts, everything that I need. So I need to do some stuff like raise this table up to level with that one. Do I need to do any other modifications to get ready for that? Because that's going to be quite a big task, doing all the cuts for the cabinets, and then we can get on building the cabinets.
Okay, before I actually get on and do the build, I thought you might find it interesting to see the design process. So I did design all this stuff in CAD before I went ahead and built anything. It's really useful exercise, not only to gain that skill set of CAD design, but also to work out what materials you need really. And then this was needed for the next process of doing all the cutting, which I'll talk about later in the video. So here you can see the cabinets, what they'll kind of look like in principle when they're finished, albeit without doors, but that's not really necessary for this. And with the CAD, this is done in actually the same software that I used to design the greenhouse. So there you can see me sliding out the bottom drawer, which will be on drawer runners. This is a free software. It's called Blender 3D. You know, it takes to get a bit used to, but it's really worth you getting to grips with it, as it can be used for designing all sorts of things on the homestead. Okay, so first of all, we need to make this base frame which all the cabinets will sit on. It's also called a toe kick frame, I think, because basically your toes kick this rather than the cabinets, because the cabinets can overhang, giving you a little bit of room to get closer to the worktop. It's pretty important this is all square and lined up correctly, otherwise it will just throw off all the cabinets later on. So the only problem I had was that because some of the floorboards are cupped, well they all are really, some more than others, I needed to create a couple of recesses in one of the cupped floorboards to be able to make sure that the frame was sitting flat, so I just chiseled those out.
So these are my cut list sheets. I never heard of this before, but there's a website, Cut List Organizer, I think there's some other ones. You put in your materials that you've got and your sheets, and then you put in all your cuts that you need, and it works out the most efficient way. You know I love that word efficient. The most efficient way to cut the boards to get the bits that you need, and it gives you it in a visual format and a list, and it also tells you all the wastage that there will be as well, because that's the next bit of cutting these boards. But I just thought I'd show you that. I'll leave a link below in the description about how you find this website, but it's free as well, which is really great, although I would heavily pay for this, because it just saved me so much work trying to work out how to cut the sheet to get all the bits out I need.
Okay, so it was on to the momentous task of slicing up all these boards of plywood to make all the cabinets carcasses. So I used all of my saws that I had, so the track saw, which I'm using here, I also used the table saw, and the mitre saw for a bit as well. The track saw as a tool is an amazing tool and I wouldn't be without it, but this track saw that I bought, which was cheap by twice and all that, is a pain in the neck, and it's the last time I'm going to use it. Actually, I'm going to bite the bullet and upgrade to a much better one, but I wouldn't be without a track tool now. Track saw, it's amazing. So now I'm using, so wherever I can, I'll use this mitre saw, which is more reliable because of the laser on it, and then back and forth through the two tools here. You can see it working. Can't quite see the difficulties I have. This was I spent ages setting up the fence here because I had to slice everything to 7 centimeters, which is what 2¼ inches and all that. So it was so easy. I know this is sped up, but it felt as easy as this. You know, I just knew that every slice is going to be exactly the right size. And then the last job was to then sort out, once I had all the piles of stuff, I then needed to sort them all out into the piles, one pile for each carcass. And then it was straight on to getting the carcass made. So this is me making the first carcass, following the design that I'd made on the CAD, using the nail gun and some pocket screws as well. Nail gun was brilliant for this, and obviously they're glued as well. In the end I decided that the pocket screws were a little bit too much, so only a couple of the cabinets have got pocket screws on, but with the nail gun it makes things really easy. I don't think I mentioned at any point in the video, but I'm actually using lower grade plywood for the carcasses because everything will be finished with higher grade plywood with all the covers and the doors. So the shelf goes in last of all, and you just need to draw a line on the outside so that when you're using the nail gun, the nails are centered onto the shelf that's then inside. These carcasses are a little tricky making on your own, but as long as you've got some big clamps, that will make it a lot easier.
Okay, time just to take stock. So you've got the cabinet at the end there, which you've just seen being made on time lapse, and then out of camera, off camera, I've made 2 almost identical cabinets. There's no point to video those because other than the fact they got 2 shelves in rather than 1, but they're all built exactly the same way. Next is the double chest of drawers that needs to go here. and I've decided with that I'm going to build the drawers first and then the carcass, because I want the carcass glue to set overnight. So here's one of the drawers. They're shallow drawers. If you there's my drawing. So this one, and this one are built. Sorry, this one. So this, and this are built. Then this is what I'm building now with the drawers. They're sliding drawers, so they'll have the sliding rails here, drawer rails here, which are still yet to purchase. But I've got a supplier. And they will be obviously this is the front of the drawer. And the sides, all the fronts will have false fronts, so it really doesn't matter how this looks. It's just important that it lines up straight. And these side bits, the back bit doesn't matter at all, really, because obviously the runners need to go on here, and it's all precision, quote unquote. Hopefully, if my CAD drawings are right. So that's what I'm doing next. You'll see me make a few drawers, and then I will make the double carcass.
Okay, so now that this chest of drawer carcass is finished, the next job is to put the rails in so that the drawers will slide in and out. I watched a few videos on how to do this. There's nothing really I can add to those other than consistency is key. So use the same tool for everything. That black tool you just saw here was really helpful in getting the lines on the side. And when you fix the cabinet, the actual rails, the internal bits, because the slide is split into two, one side for the drawer and one side for the cabinet, then do all your maths and use the same piece of wood for all the measurements so that everything is correct, like I'm using here really. So to make it sure it's all I use that piece of wood as a clamp and line up the rail on that, and it works really well. So last of all, just got to put the drawers in. They're all done. This is really fiddly actually. You've got to really struggle to get them in the first time, and of course they're not smooth from the start, so over the few weeks they get better and better, but I didn't really appreciate this at the time. So they're not too bad here, but they're not great.
Okay, so I built the last carcass. Nothing different. This carcass is built exactly the same as these other three, the outer bit of the carcass anyway. And now it's time to do the internals. So this is the last carcass with the this will have the be a rack of drawers, but they'll be sliding. The drawers are built differently. They're not on runners, they're on fixed runners. Well, they're still runners I suppose, but they're these they'll be sliding in and out on these ply runners. It's a different way of making drawers. I thought I'd have a go at lots of different techniques to build up my skill base. And we've got I mentioned on drawing I had envisaged about 8 drawers. I don't really know what I was thinking there. I was going to make them a lot shallower basically, but in the end I won't be making that many drawers. So basically you're going to have so the top of each slat here is the runners where the drawer will sit, so it sits there. So there's 1, 2, 3 shallower drawers about 10 centimeters, and then we'll have the span of my hand be 1, 2, and then 2 deeper drawers. They're 20 and a quarter centimeters, and then a bit of a false floor here with this ply, so that it doesn't actually run right on the bottom of the cabinet, and that will then I think make it look nice and neat. I'm not going to worry about having interchangeable drawers because there's no other places for them to go. That's quite the thing, is to have interchangeable. There's absolutely no need here, so I'm not going to twist my brain into a knot trying to work out all the maths to do that. Absolutely no need.
So you'll see me now fixing all these. On the lower ones, I'm going to have to put another spacer in so that when the drawer slides in and out, it doesn't tip. It's going to have a little slice there and a little slice here. That might make more sense when I actually do it. So you'll see me making all these. We'll glue and nail gun these on both sides, and then I'll make all the drawers, and then we'll put them together, and hopefully it all will work. Right, the next job is to get the doors on the 3 cabinets. Now, I've gone ahead and done a test jig. I've got the hinges, or a test rig, I should say. I got the hinges all done. Well, purchased GTV. These are only like, I don't know, €1.50 each or something. So for what they are, they're an amazing price. And I bought this jig to do it all. I can't remember, this is about €30, I think, €35, something like that. It's brilliant. It worked perfectly first time. There's the hinge, it's got slow close on it as well. Like I say, for €1.50, can't go wrong really. Works wonderfully. Basically, you clip this on, you then have the piece, this plate drills the big recess. Well, like there, that was another test. And I'll explain why that is there. And then you've got another plate which does the holes for the screws, lines them up. They give you everything you need. They give you the drill bit. They give you the, all of it. What I didn't know, and then what you've got here is a setting as to how close the hole comes to the edge. And what I've not seen on any video on YouTube is someone explaining how you know the right distance. And everyone says 4mm, but actually that's if you're using 18mm plywood. And everyone assumes that the thinnest you must use is 18mm, but it's not true. You can use 16mm. And this actually is only 15mm, and it still works on that. So you need to look at this chart. We're looking for the K value with the distance from the hole to this edge. And you look at the thickness of your material you're using, 16mm in my case. And so I want, because it's full face hinges I'm using, 3mm gap between here and here. So I've got it on the 3mm setting. Blink and you'll miss that, but it is there in the instructions. And first of all, I went straight away because everyone on the videos says 4mm, so I did 4mm. And then I was intrigued. I mean, to be fair, it worked fine on 4mm as far as I was concerned, but the 3mm gives you a little bit more of adjustment when you're setting up the door, so I'll go for 3mm. But it's the first time I've seen that, so keep an eye on that.
Okay, at the start, the most important thing you must do is line up the door to the cabinet and draw a line where it's going to meet, because everything depends on them meeting exactly right with this jig. So the pencil lines do that. Apart from that, it's exactly as I said just now. It's really easy jig to use, incredibly easy. You kind of think there's so much that could go wrong, and it just works straight away. It's perfect, well worth the money. The hinges clip on really easy, and then they've got some adjustment to do to pull it out or to the left or to the right. And once you've done that, it's done. The next job is to cut all the false fronts. So these are all the fronts for the drawers. So here I am using the track saw to do that, with this higher quality plywood. Quite a lot of precision needed here. This Shepak track saw was really starting to let me down by this point. But I've kind of got used to how to make it work, which I'll probably cover in another video. But nevertheless, I'm fed up with it now and I'm going to get a better one. But for this job, I did use a cheap tool. It was 140 euros, I think, that track saw. So here we are, I'm lining up. I'm using that black tool again to just line up the gap in the drawers. It's exactly 3 millimeters, which is exactly the gap I wanted. And then for the gap between the two drawers, I used some washers, which I keep on with tape, and that sets exactly the right gap between the two drawers, the drawer fronts. And you need to measure each one as you go along, really, and remember to include or remove the depth gap of the washer. There we are, all done. So now I'm just fixing those worktops. In the end, I just glued them together. They're absolutely fine, and they're fixed with screws underneath, so everything's hidden.
Okay, we're nearly there. I've cut the worktops. I've not fitted them though. You just see me cut them. They're still loose, which is fine. Now, basically, what I've done is behind all the cabinets, I've attached these extra pieces of wood to give support. I couldn't work out how deep I needed it. And my thought is now, I'll make the tabletop. I've got to make an offcut anyway, so why not just have it as deep as possible? And then I can put up some framing here across and down, and that's got support then underneath. We can then choose what to do. So my current thinking is maybe have a splash. I mean, this is really for another video, but is have a splashback, and then maybe tools are lined up along there, and then some shelving, or maybe some room for some more of the plastic trays. And you still need to think about that. But basically, that's my thinking there, and that's why I've done it, just in case you were thinking of doing this, and why has he done it that way, and blah, blah, blah. You know, really, the worktops only need to go as far back as the actual cupboards themselves. And then you could have some small finish splashback at the back there, or some cornice or something, just to finish it off, to stop things rolling off the back, basically. So I got this pine shaped pine, whatever that, I'm not sure what it's called actually. Like a dowel, isn't it, or something, a dado rail. And then I'm going to have 10 centimetre wide handles, and I need to do some kind of thing so that when you pull them, you've got something to grip hold of, but I want it to be kind of invisible. So I played around. The obvious one is to use a router. I got a router, but I haven't got the right bits, and I couldn't get any of them. I wasn't sure how to clamp it down and everything. So then I had to go with the mitre saw, little experiments, some lines which you could grip on. And in the end, I thought actually it'd be really easy just to set the saw at a certain depth, and then just pass it in a few times to get this kind of recess. And that's what it looks like when it's finished, and with a little bit of sanding. And then to make the ends nice, I've got a little rotary sander over there. And then what we'll do is stain these, I think, and have them look on the doors, nice like that. Give it a pull. And if you can see underneath, there's the little, the recess is there for me to grab hold of. So I think that will work nicely. So I need to now make 12 of these, 3 cupboards, and 9 drawers. That's right, yeah. So I'll get on and do that. So here's the handles now stained. You can see the difference in the colour really easy actually. It didn't look that, when I was staining it, it didn't look that big a difference, but now I'm comparing it, it does. So basically what I'm going to do is use this little template to then allow me to line up all the centres and everything, and pre-drill the holes. so we can screw into the back of these. Obviously the handle goes up that way, so my fingers grab it like that and I pull it.
Well, it's all finished now. I'm really pleased with how it's been done. It's not without its small mistakes here and there, but it is what it is. It's for the workshop here. It's supposed to be functional, but it also has, I think, some stylish looks as well with this birch plywood. I'm really looking forward now to really getting on and filling it up. You can see I've already started. Actually, I was getting so fed up with the mess over there, I've started filling up already. And the next stage on this journey now is to start working on the back here and get my tools up on there, which will be the next video really. So I will now just show you bits and pieces of the cabinets, and thanks for watching. I'm sure it's been a long video. If you've got any questions, do leave them down in the comments below. Do give me a thumbs up if you like the video and appreciate what I've been doing here. If you've enjoyed the video, there's lots of other videos on our channel which I'm sure you'll enjoy equally. So I'll just leave you now with the cabinets, and I'll see you in another video very soon. Bye for now.